So, welcome back, everybody. This is the Hot Song Podcast for the year 2025. It's January 16th today. So, we are starting back up the podcast again today. The topic for today is connecting with Source. So, why did I choose this? It's because there's we when we come to this place, this realm, um, we most of us, anyways, I wouldn't say all of us, but most of us um, make the choice to forget all about things that happened in the previous lifetime. So when we come here, we just start fresh, start with a clean slate, and then we take on new situation, we do our life, and then however, the energy has changed, and we've come to the point where we don't need to do that anymore. We don't need to um have our memories wiped every time we come here. So it's why do we decide to discontinue that? Why do we decide that we want to remember our lifetimes? It's because the reason we were here before is that we actually we want to have an experience where we cannot remember who we are. But now that the energy has changed, we actually getting to the point where we get to, or we want to remember all our lifetimes, not just this one, but previous ones, and also the ones that we have from now on. And that's actually part of what ascension is, or what we think of as ascension is that our memories become continuous hereafter. So connecting, so when we have our memories, then we can actually learn from lifetime to lifetime. Remember what it is that we have learned in previous lifetimes. We remember when we do something, what's the result? When we don't remember it, we have a tendency to have to learn things over and over again from lifetime to lifetime, which takes more time away. Whereas if we remember, okay, we did A, so the results is B, for example, then we know, okay, if we don't like the results, then we don't do the same thing. We try to do something else, try a different route. So when we remember all the lifetimes, all the experiences, then we actually start to evolve at an accelerated rate. Whereas before, our evolution is kind of very slow. It takes us several lifetimes to make one big jump. Whereas from here on now, because we remember what it is that we did before, we actually can speed up evolution, and we are aiming to evolve way, way, way faster than what we used to. So the next 1,000 years would be equivalent to the last 10,000 years in terms of evolution. That's what we have chosen to do, is to evolve in a much faster rate. That's why when you see the kids nowadays, the younger generation, the they learn so fast. It's because they already here. They already know that, okay, humanity decided to evolve much faster. So they actually equipped. They already came with all the things to be able to accelerate their own evolution. So, and part of the way that we can empower if you're not equipped with all of that, like a lot of us, especially the older generation, we find it harder to change. However, that's because we've been loaded down with all those programs, and because our I would say we are designed to resist change. So, one of the ways that we can kind of ease those programs faster and get out of those programs faster is to really step out of our own way to connect back to source, because source. So actually, let me just maybe give a definition of source. What do I think of as source? Source is all of creation plus all of things that haven't even been created or thought of yet. So everything. So source is everything, whether it's a plant or a rock or something that is not even created yet, it's not into existence yet. So that's includes everything. So nothing is outside of source. So that's what source is. Source is everything, and we are actually an aspect. Each and every one of us is an aspect of source, and even things that are we think of as being inanimate, like this cup, is also an aspect of source. So it's just that human beings, we have a consciousness is much more fluid than the cup, for example, because the cup doesn't really evolve much, whereas a human being has the capacity to evolve and evolve even faster in the days to come. So when we connect back to source, which is we connect back to an immense amount of power, an immense amount of energy, immense amount of limitless potentials. That's what we are connecting back to. And the why do we need to connect back to source is because we actually needed that amount of power in order to shift our own programming. It's change is not easy. However, it does not have to be that this hard. It can be easier. And one of the ways that we can get it to be easier is to actually tap back to that the source energy, which is so much more dynamic and full of empowerment source of energy, in order to assist all of us to make the changes in our life that is going to assist us to be comfortable in the new energy, because a lot of us are conditioned to think of comfort as a certain thing, and we don't think of like because we still have a very fear-based kind of mentality. So we actually comfort does not go well with us. We a lot of us are constant worriers. We worry if we have nothing to worry about, that kind of scenario, which is crazy. If you think about it, I mean, if you have nothing to worry about, life is good, but we worry about having nothing to worry about. So that is kind of a perverted situation. So that's why I want to do connecting back to source. Because when we can connect back to source, we can actually make changes in our lives so much easier. And also on Tuesday, Sifu James, I know some of you have attended that. Sifu James mentioned that a lot of the things, for example, self-sabotage, or if you feel like you're in a loop, life is not changing or shifting easy for you, then a lot of times it's because of trauma, whether it's present life or past life. So that when we can connect back to source, we can use this source energy to assist us in letting go of a lot of the emotions that is holding us in a stuck pattern. So, and the first thing that we need to do is really be able to connect back to source. Because if we know how to connect back to source, then there's a lot of things that we can do to clean up and get us ready for the next phase in human evolution. Let's see. Have I talked about everything yet? Let me check my notes. Okay. Yep, pretty much that. I just also want to talk a little bit about so who we are. We are an aspect of source, and even though we see the body, we touch the body. However, we are human beings anyways. Human beings is first and foremost a soul. And we experience this reality through this body. And because we can see the body, so we think the body is us. It is not. It's actually the soul is actually us. And we use this body to experience this environment and also to interact with other souls as well. So this is so this body. And a lot of the times all the stuck energy is being stored in the body. And because the soul experience this reality through the body. So the soul has the capacity to shift and change much, much faster than the body. So that's why before we before we started this evening, we talked about doing detoxing. So detoxing our body actually makes the body easier to let go of stuck energy. So it's actually detoxing is a very good way of allowing us to be able to connect with source easier. So if your body is loaded down with a lot of different toxins, then it makes it harder for your body to be able to respond the way that your soul wants to. Did you want to say something? You ask a question? Okay. So, and so we within the body there is a 0 point within our body, so we kind of know where that is. It's the kind of in our breast, the bones. So there's this bone in the middle of our body that kind of connects the ribs. And it is if you find your lowest rib, your last rib, and then you kind of follow it until the two ribs meet in the middle, and it is, I think it's about 2 fingers up, and that will be where the location of your 0 point is. It's not right on the ribs, it's a little bit more inside the body, but that's approximately where the location of your 0 point is. The 0 point is where your soul was created. When your soul was created, it blasts through. It was created. So at the point of creation is like something spring into reality. And your 0 point is connected with that, the origin of your soul. And then the real I is where, so it is it's between your both eyes, and it's kind of a little bit between your eyebrows and your physical eye in the middle here. So that is where the real I is. The real I is where you actually can start to see and also get information about that your soul is trying to connect with you. So we've been working with the real I for a while now, last year. And so the real I is very important in terms of being able to connect with our soul. So when we connect with our soul is connected to source. So because we are an aspect of source. So these are all the parts that we need to activate, really have a good feel of it. And this past weekend, we have not this past, yeah, I think it's this. Yeah, this past weekend we had a workshop with Steve James, and he actually took us through or added a few things that helps me anyways to understand, to really know how we know that we are actually connected to source. So what are the markers that we know we are connected to source? So that's why I want to introduce or just talk about that today. And of course, to experience that. So let's, I just want to